In this video, I'm going to show you step by step just how I was able to figure out who the little girl is in this photo, along with the rest of her family. And of course, a video like this wouldn't be complete without another small world connection to one of my other videos. I've been a genealogist now for over 10 years, and I love reconnecting old photos like this with their current family members and telling a little bit about their lives to help keep their memories and stories alive just a little while longer. I was recently tagged in a Facebook post asking for help in trying to identify the people in these pictures, mainly the little girl. Shout out to Jacob Curry. The original poster, or OP, found these photos in a flea market in Etheridge, Tennessee. They are glass plate negatives. A negative refers to the image created when light is focused through the lens and lands on light-sensitive materials. In this case, that material is a chemical solution or emulsion spread across a glass plate. The created image is the opposite, or negative, in terms of light and dark, to what the eye sees, which is positive. The fellow who found the plates is a photographer himself, so he knew a little bit about what he was dealing with and was able to scan the photos to get them digitized so that he could upload them and see if anybody happened to know who they were. This is a good way to try to find relatives of ancestors by going on Facebook groups of small towns around the area where you found them or where your family might have lived and hope that somebody recognizes them. It's a long shot, but I've seen it pay off more than once. Now, in this case, I'm not related to these people. I didn't recognize the little girl. I had no idea who they were. There were no clues. He had no name, no date, no real location other than where he found them, so what are you going to do? But thankfully now, there is something you can try. I used Ancestry's latest tool to figure out that this little girl was Harriet Elizabeth Trousdale, born in Maury County, Tennessee, 1922, and died in St. Charles, Missouri, 2004. Maury County, Tennessee, is not wildly far from Etheridge, which is where these pictures were found in a flea market. Her dad was Maury Trousdale, born in 1902 and died in 1955. He was a chauffeur later on in life, but he owned a grocery store for about 20 years, from 1928 to 1947. It's still there, and it's a restaurant now. So we're going to go hang out and see where Maury and Harriet spent a big portion of their lives nearly 100 years ago. But before we do that, we've got a little bit to get through. Like, how do I know all that? And if you like this video so far, please give it a like and subscribe and watch to the end. Your support means everything. And if you want a coffee mug just like this, the link is down below in our shop. I'm going to show you how I found the identity of the little girl in these photos and her family without any clues. But I need you to know that this video is not sponsored by Ancestry. Nobody has reached out to me to do this. It's just an awesome tool that I finally got to work, and I want to share it with you. That said, Ancestry, if you're watching, shoot me a message. My email's in my bio. Okay, for the moment of truth. How did I figure out who those people were in those pictures without any clues? So I'm going to show you. And we're going to do it through Ancestry using their new tool called Face Match. Now here's how you do it. So these are the photos that were on Facebook that were found in a flea market. And I've got them organized out. They're all really good pictures, very clear, but not a lot to go by. But we have a lot of faces in these pictures, which is a good thing. Gives us lots of chances for what we're about to do next. So we'll start with the main picture, this picture of this little girl. It's nice and clear, nice and clean. And what we're hoping for is that somebody else on Ancestry has uploaded either the same picture or a picture from the same set or a picture of the same girl just as clear as this one that it will be able to match for us. So let's find out. So we pull up Ancestry, and here's the main page. We're going to go up to Memories, click on Gallery, and we're going to upload whichever picture we want to try this with. I'm going to try it with this first one because it's super clear and super clean. I don't have anything for this picture, so we're just going to hit done to move it on. And now it's in our gallery on Memories on Ancestry. So we can click on her. And over here on this little menu, there is Face Match. So we click that. And then we click on the picture somewhere around their face. And then you can drag and expand this box so that it wraps around their face. And then click Face Match and see what comes up. We've got a few matches here. And it'll kind of tell you what it thinks is good or bad. This one says good. Maybe that's her. Keep scrolling, and really none of these others jump out at me. It's real difficult with kid pictures because their facial features are kind of smoother and rounded out and haven't been developed yet, so it's harder to do matches this way. So we'll come back to this if we need to, but we've got a better way of doing this. Let's try the group photo of her family. So we'll go back, drag and drop, and we'll select the big family photo right here. Here they all are. Click done. And let's click Face Match. So we can try the fella on the left. This gentleman right here, and we'll zoom it out a little bit and Face Match. This says that his name is Alice Lucinda Gribble. He doesn't look much like an Alice to me, so, or a Rebecca, or an Elizabeth, or another Elizabeth, or Harriet, or Lucinda. I don't think this one's gonna work for us either. Even though it says these are good matches, I disagree. So we'll click that one off. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Let's click on the gentleman who is holding the same little girl. Okay. Click Face Match. I think we're getting somewhere now. I've used this method several times over the last couple of years, and I've yet to find one where it actually works. I've been excited for it to work, and I've wanted it to work ever since Ancestry came out with it, but it just hasn't yet for me. But here we go. So now we have Maury Vernon Trousdale, and Ancestry says it thinks this is a good match. We scroll down, check out the others, and yeah, I'm going to say that's the best one. He's obviously put on a little bit of age there, maybe about 20 years difference, 30 years difference. But here's the best part about this one. This one says that he is in Columbia, Maury County, Tennessee, which is important because the photos were found not far from Columbia. They were found in Etheridge, Tennessee, which is not very far away. So I think we should explore this match. And he's in 20 trees. And you can click on it and scroll through. And what jumps out at you right away is this account right here has the exact same photo. Actually, I think it's from the same day, from the same few moments, but it's from the same set. It's just reversed. So there they are, together. Who are they? Hopefully, now we have to hope that this user knows who they are too and was able to label them. And he does. This was uploaded by user Mike Duggar on November 2010. And he has them labeled for us. We've got Harriet and Maury over here on the left-hand side. The other folks are named as well, with James Thurman, Mary, and Ura. So these are all his mom and grandparents. So this is really cool. So the photos that we originally were tagged in, now we know that they are father and daughter, and that is his mom sitting right beside him, and his grandparents, her parents. And I reached out to Mike, and he was able to confirm that the photos in the glass plates were absolutely his family, and that was definitely Harriet a little while after this photo was taken. So this group photo was taken, and then those singles were taken later on when she was a little bit older. But he confirmed he had not actually seen those pictures before, so he's excited to get them. And I got him in contact with the original poster, so now they're going to be going back. And he was able to share quite a few cool stories, which we're going to dive into. So from Ancestry, and with permission, we have met Mike, who is the grandson of Harriet and the great-grandson of Maury. He's a super nice guy, and I was able to get him in touch with Edwin, the OP from the Facebook post. So by the time this video is released, the pictures are probably headed back home. Mike shared some really cool facts about his family, especially about Harriet and Maury, and her husband Melvin, who has the connection to someone from one of the other videos. Harriet grew up in Culleoka, Tennessee, which is a very small town, very, very small town, and it's way out there. And her father Maury took ownership of the general store for the town. Mike was able to share an old photo from the way it looked back then, and I thought this was super cool. Now, as most of you already know, general stores back then were the hub of the community. That's where usually the postmaster was. That's where you got all of your ingredients for everything you needed. That's where there was usually some form of a restaurant that you could sit down and chit-chat. It was a gathering place, if nothing else. And that's where they lived for a long time. So Harriet grew up there. Harriet was 6 when they got the store, meaning she grew up there. And according to Mike, her grandson, Maury was very highly regarded by the family. Everybody loved him and respected him. And that's what I like to hear, because in these videos and in these stories, we can try to gather as much as we can from public record, read between the lines on newspaper articles, obituaries, and so on. But you don't ever really know firsthand what the person is like. So it's awesome when we're able to hear directly from someone who was related to him that says, yeah, he was a good guy. And I love hearing that, and I love being able to share that. And the fact that he's a good guy makes me think that there was probably a lot of really good time spent in that general store during the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And the best part is that it's still there. And it's a restaurant. So let's go check it out.
Let me show you what I have.
Okay.
And what I've been told.
We met up with the Current Country Store's owner, John. And John showed us around the place and showed us some really cool stuff. This is one of those places that's not just a restaurant where you go to eat. This is a restaurant you go to visit. And we couldn't leave without trying out the fried banana peppers and the frog legs. I hadn't had frog legs since I was 14. That was a treat.
So that's the oldest picture that I have, and I've been told, and it was given to us. And a lot of this stuff people have given to try to keep the history of this building alive. Early 1900s. That's what they're telling me. The one above it's in the 20s, and we can take any of that down if you want. That's the only documented train that stopped here that we know of, and they used to call it the Hucky Buck, is what I was told. Yeah.
So that picture in the 20s, that could be the guy who owned it in the video we're doing. So that was Maury Trousdale.
Maury Trousdale, okay.
He owned it, I'd have to check my notes, from 1927 to about 1948, something like that.
Okay.
And so she was like 6 when they bought the place. So she grew up here basically, like in this building when it was still a general store, I guess. When did you guys turn it into a restaurant?
So it's been a restaurant about 20 years. So my understanding after that happened, after they or the 40s, J.J. Bone owned it, and that was actually in their house and was given back to us when they passed. I did find a map, and this is where we are right now. This looks like it came from the 1890s maps that were done.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of those, and
Yeah, they're a big help.
They are, because you're trying to figure out where everything is. Because there's a church that's still over here. The original Campbell Station School is still over there. They, being six, did they live in this area at that time?
Yeah. Harriet's family lived right across the street, just over the bridge. You can see the general store from their house. So we walked over there to check it out because I just wanted to see what the pictures looked like in person now, because not many of these houses are left. Maury sold the restaurant and began working as a local chauffeur. And in fact, Mike actually has a picture of his license to operate that business. Maury was a chauffeur for several years, but unfortunately, he was stricken with a devastating heart attack in the middle of Sunday school on January 30th, 1955. His little girl, Harriet Trousdale, grew up to marry Melvin Duggar, a local boy from the nearby bigger town of Columbia. And if that sounds familiar, it's because that's where most of the kids in the photo from our Thanksgiving 1940 video went to high school. He was a few years older than those folks, but check out this obituary. Harriet's husband Melvin worked as a radio announcer, and Mike was able to confirm to me that he worked for WKRM, the very same radio station that good old Bobby McKay founded in 1946. And Bobby McKay was featured in our Friendsgiving 1940 episode. Mike and I agreed that there's virtually no way that they didn't know each other on a very personal level. They were probably buddies. Melvin did a Saturday morning heard around town show in the 1940s, and the radio station is still active today, 80 years later. I actually took a listen to it while I was working on the research for this video. You can go to their website and listen to them live, like listen to the actual station while it's going on. Melvin unfortunately suffered a very serious back injury that would later cause numerous health problems. Harriet lived as a homemaker and mother of 3. She spent the last 25 years of their marriage taking care of Melvin as his nurse, basically. He died on May 27th, 2001. And Harriet followed soon after, 3 years later, in 2004. These glass plates were sitting nameless in a flea market several years ago, and were thankfully picking up and taken care of by a guy who knew how to take care of them. And now, thanks to the power of community and Ancestry, the photos are headed back home, and their story is told one more time.